to the to your main website. So it actually takes you to the login page. So they can do that, recover and share. They can search through. This My Account system is limited to recovering 500 megs or less. So this isn't something that you would be a full machine recovery or full image recovery. This is for specific files. So the search function is really what you'd be using most of the time. Managing shares, if you share a file, you can hit View Shares, and you can stop that link from being active if you no longer want it to be. You have different reports, so if you go to backup history, select the date range, run the search. And this actually takes a little bit depending on what kind of range you're putting in here, because it is getting the most recent information as of this request. It's not pulling from a static reporting database that only gets updated daily or weekly. So this is going to update right now. So it could take a few minutes depending on your bandwidth and time of day, that whole thing. Another report that's really helpful, and more typically, you would just do machine backup details. Machine backup details just gives you a real simple list of all the machines that are running on this backup, or that this backup account is running on. Gives you the total amount of data backed up per machine and the date of the last backup per machine. And that's really helpful. Typically, backup history I don't run into unless the machine backup details don't look right, or the information in Pulse or in the emails that I get don't look right. So backup history is usually kind of a troubleshooting step in my experience.
You guys ever see this taking a long time? Just keep in mind that the information that you're trying to display here is on a different backup server. So it's got to go to that server, run the query, and then display it. If there's lots of machines backing up, thousands of files backing up, whatever it is, it could take a couple seconds or so many minutes.
Yeah, generally it'll hit up pretty quickly though. Sometimes if it takes too long, let's go back to the beginning. And then run it again and it'll pop right up. So here we go. So machines, we see you got the SOS Mac Mini, so the Mac client does live. And the update on that is a lot of you gave us some great feedback on the Mac client, and it was so consistent on the specific items where changes were requested that we just went back and we're building those changes out, and then we're looking to have a new Mac client probably around the same time the mobile clients will be out the end of this quarter. So as long as what's gone through will work out pretty well. Any questions so far? I'm going to go ahead and log into our server. Just do a little remote desktop into a Server 2008 box. Just let this load up. This is Server 2008 running R2. Okay. Need to clear out that drive. All right, so we're getting a notice of some incremental backups having failed, and that's because we've exceeded the storage limit on the backup volume we've selected. So there's not enough space on disk. So real simple, real clear language on what's happening here. Okay, so we have Server Save as an executable, and again, you can download it from this main dashboard right here, serversave.exe. And again, you can always download that and re-upload it to the back end of the web package if you want it to be available there. To use Server Save, you don't always need a license assigned to that backup account, but generally you do. So we'll assign to our account. We're going to log in. And then we see the branding appear, Acme Online Backup, the Acme logo here. It is Server Save and ImageStream are the neutral brands for this. Another question on the My Account system, why can't I download a file directly from the web page, the 1 gigabyte file? It's because there's a 500 megabyte limit on the My Account system. So if it's bigger than that, then just open up the software client and recover from there. So here we have 3 main tabs. We have the Application tab. Oh yeah, let me change this real quickly so I can just put this to the remote desktop section. Okay, there. Okay, so let me rearrange some things for a quick minute. Okay, so I just rearranging some windows really quickly so we can make this look better for you.
Thank you. Is it an active window screen?
Yeah. Okay, everyone seeing that all right? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so here we have 5 of the applications that we've installed this on. So we have the Online Backup and Recovery, which we mentioned was the file and folder system. This is going to download from that web link we told you, so /client/download. That's where this is taking this from. So if you're seeing that it's a piece of software that you don't really want there, then that's what's there. Bare Metal Image Creator, this is going to do the image creator. We have our license details here. If you have an account and you don't have a license assigned to it, that's fine. Every time you install Image Creator or EGR, you're going to be able to use the software for 30 days before the trial dies. So you'll have 30 days to use it before you assign a license, and then you just hit License Details. You copy this. You would launch Image Creator, and you would go down to your license key section here at the bottom and hit Active. All right, so we have here at the top, we have a wizard section, the disk map, backup jobs, destinations, and backup history. Typically, backup history and backup jobs are the only 2, and wizards would be the only 3 things that we use in here. So backup history, if you just wanted to monitor this, if you had some other program like Spiceworks or IT Control Suite or Shocky Monkey, something like that, monitoring your networks and your systems, you can tell it to monitor this stuff too. Backup jobs just shows you what's scheduled. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I'm going to create a new one. Disk map, this comes up in the wizards. You don't need to use that too often. And then we have our wizard screen. So you can create a backup job or restore and override an entire volume, or restore to a particular volume. Let's create a quick backup job. So we hit next, and it wants us to select the volume on our machine. So you would never select the system reserved section. That's just something that's created upon recovery. You would just select either your C drive, your system drive, or our example exchange volume, which is a massive 5 gigabytes. And then we have our backup volume, which we can see is full, which is why we were seeing the error when we first logged in. So the exchange volume, we select that, and we hit next. And then it's going to ask us, okay, where do you want to put this backup? Now typically you would go to a network location, and you're going to pick the staging machine. So the staging machine can be Windows operating system, Windows 7 doesn't have to be a server operating system. Windows 7 running, with 8 to 16 gigs of RAM and enough hard drive space to handle all of the backup files you're sending that way.
And just to clarify, as far as the RAM requirements, you're just using this machine to save your images too, so you don't need lots of RAM for that. The reason why we say you should have extra RAM is in case you want to use like VMware Workstation or Hyper-V or Virtual PC to convert an image, to convert a backup image into a virtual machine on that system. And if you were to do so, obviously you would need that system to have plenty of RAM to run that existing, the host OS and the guest OS. So if you don't want to do that, then you don't need lots of RAM.
Definitely, and having lots of RAM also helps with our backup. Being security as a main concern and focus of ours, we do encrypt locally at 256-bit AES before we transfer offsite over 128-bit SSL, and then we store the data at an additional 1024-bit AES at the first data center. We then replicate to a geographically separate data center, and that's just really the level of security that comes with our service, which is why we've been investing in the business for so long. For those of you who have country-specific needs, geographic redundancy is subject to change. So if you are requiring your data to remain in Canada, there's only one data center in Canada. If you need to remain if your data needs to remain in UK, there's currently only one data center in the UK. Same with Australia. So you would put in your network location here, or you just browse and you pick a map drive, whatever the case may be. But for this